failure or failure? Wow. So, I'll first of all give you the balance to it. You know, giving the dictionary meaning to failure, which I actually don't agree with. I don't in any way agree with that definition because it is not well rounded and it is not balanced. And I'll tell you why I have a beef with the dictionary concerning a few words. I'll tell you the one word and I'll give you the balance to failure, and then I'll tell you what failure is, when you can fail, and so on and so forth. So, first of all, the dictionary meaning of failure. Again, I don't like bringing definitions. I love understanding, but because I want to counter and tackle this definition, that's why I'm bringing it. So, yeah. So, what is the dictionary meaning of failure? I will just paraphrase. So, failure in a dictionary is the lack of success, where something ceases to function well, and so on and so forth. And I actually don't agree with it because it is flawed and it is not well rounded, it is not balanced. Right? I believe that failure is a state of being. Failure is a state of being. It is who you become. So you become a failure. Right? You become a failure. And so I don't think anyone can become a failure by failing. I'll give you the balance to it. Just relax. So, first of all, let me talk about the dictionary part. I have a beef with the dictionary, because it does not, and if you've listened to Flipping the Plate episode 1, 2, 3, 4, you would understand. But even it was actually for my mentees, and it was the characters of the 1%. That was the title I taught my mentees. Well, I just thought about it and I, gave you guys a tiny bit of what was shared, very, very tiny bit of what was shared. But you would see that I established what is called the 99% and the 1%. That is the top 1%, the masses, and the elite. So, now, the elite, actually, do you know that the nature of humans is actually oppressive? Right? Even the first children to ever be in the face of this earth, Cain and Abel. Cain killed his brother to show you how the fallen state of man is oppressive. So humans are oppressive in nature. And so wicked elite, most people that are up there, the top 1%, the elite of the elite, they don't want you to climb up. They want to keep you where you are so that you can always need them and so that they can always be your God, so that they can always be your rulers. Do you understand? So, let me say a few things. First of all, let me say this. I listened to a podcast yesterday, and man, I was, oh my God. I will also tag it to this episode. I'll tag it to this episode on Spotify, so you see it. It's titled "The Thing About Wealth That Nobody Tells You About" by Apostle Femi Lazarus and Adeshino Asset. So you see it on Spotify or YouTube, declassified podcast. Yeah. So he said something. Adeshino said he was once a political campaign distributor. So they distribute goods, when they are campaigning. Oh, yeah, come and vote for us. Okay, take this. We are giving you this. He said there are some places that they go to that what they share to the people is rice. 5 dirika, 4 dirika and all. He didn't say this, but I'm just telling you because I've seen it happen. I've seen 5 dirikas being shared, right? So 5 dirika and these people are happy. And then because of that, they vote for those people. And he said that there are some places also that they go to that what they share is salt. And those people will still be happy and they vote for them still. And I held my head. I stood up from my seat. I was asking, what is going on? Now, do you think the people that are getting results and they are getting voted for, because they are sharing salt and rice to people. Do you think when they go get in power or get into power, they will empower those people that are collecting salt and rice? They will empower them to not need the salt and rice? No, it's not possible. They cannot empower you enough for you to not need it, because they will continue to need your help. They will continue to need your help to vote for people, so they will keep you at that level of salt and rice so that you can continue to vote for them and vote for their other members as well. And so they wrote a definition for you that failure is the lack of success. Failure is when you're not. So you now start to see yourself as a failure, and when you start to see yourself, you condition your mind to it and you become it. Right? So that definition is for things and not you as a human being. I will prove it to you. Another definition that I have an issue with is poverty. It's poverty. They wrote it so that you can attain that state. Tell yourself every day, convince yourself that you are it, even though you are not it. Who told? Just imagine or think about this or make your research, I don't know. But think about it most importantly. Who told the first man that was poor that he was poor? Just think about it. What did the first man that was poor, what did he have and what did he not have? What did he know and what did he not know? What was he doing and what was he not doing? Think about it. The dictionary will say poverty is the lack of money, lack of basic resources, lack of basic resources to educate yourself, to do this, blah, 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 blah. Rubbish. That's not poverty. That's a part, or that is one of the many things that contribute to poverty, but that in itself is not poverty. Do you understand? That in itself is not poverty. That is one of the things that contribute to poverty. So, do you see that the dictionary meaning of this word and a few more words, they are actually more of a strategic definition to keep you where they want you to be. But that's not where we are going. Let's go to failure. Now, it is actually not failure. It is failing. If you fail at something, you are not a failure. Failing at something does not make you a failure. It makes you fail at that thing. So that process, the journey that leads to success is a journey, not of failure. It's the name of the journey is fail or failing. You can only fail at a thing. You are not a failure as long as you are alive. As long as you can put something to improve on what has been done already. As long as you can improve on that thing, on something, then you're not a failure. You are just failing. I'll tell you what failure is. As long as you can improve on it, as long as you can add to it, as long as you can correct it, as long as you are alive, you are not a failure. You are only failing. There are things that we cannot determine what it is until it gets to the end. Failure is as a result of the end. It is an end result. Failure is an end result. So until the life of a man ends, you cannot tell if that man is a failure. Yet. You can't. Just like purpose. Some people ask me, these people that are, doing charity, they are giving people money, helping people. It does not mean they are fulfilling purpose. Purpose is a God-given mandate. It's a God-given purpose, God-given assignment, God-given calling. Is it God-given calling or God's calling? Please. But God-given assignment, God-given purpose. Who marks it? Not man. Man does not have the ability to mark that exam script. No, only God does. Only God can tell if a man has truly discovered the purpose that he called that man for, what he has ordained him for, what he has sent him to do. Only God can tell if he has really discovered it. And yes, there are checkers. There are checkers here and there that we can use to know. Yes, if you meet me now, there are questions I will ask you. I will know that okay, you are on point and you are doing this right. But only God knows if you completed your assignment, if you did it wrong. He's the one that will mark it. He's the judge that will mark it. No other man is called to judge. Oh, you are not even working. Oh, you can't tell. You can't tell. You can't tell. It's not people that have money that work in purpose. No, it's not people that are poverty. They don't have money. Are they fulfilling purpose? They might be. So you can't tell. You can't be so sure. You can only guide them to the truth, but you can't be so sure they are doing what is required of them. Do you understand? So the same thing as failure. You can't say a man has failed. You can say a man has failed, but you cannot say a man is a failure as far as he is alive. Now let me give a twist here. Just a simple twist. If a man fails at something, and he fails, 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 and he dies like that, with all the knowledge of what does not work, with all the knowledge of what he has done, if he dies like that, then that man is a failure. But, thank God for Director Beam. She taught me and she's still teaching me how to journal and she's still holding me accountable. Now, if a man, let me bring the other side now to it. If a man fails at something and he failed at something, then he documents it down, he journals, writes it down. Oh, I failed at this thing. I tried it this way. It did not work. So that is not the way. Okay, I tried this one too. That is not the way. I tried this one. So he tried all his life and he died and he presented that book, that journal to his son. He presented that journal to his son. Then that man is not a failure. Because something can be done to that distance. Whatever he was trying to attain. As far as something can be done to it, you're not a failure. Let me say this. Failure. Let me put this way. Not failure per se now. Failing is not an end in itself. Failing is a means to an end. Failing is not an end in itself. Failing is a means to an end. We fail not to fail, but we fail to do something, to get something, to attain something, to check if this is the correct way. Just like you are solving a mathematics question, you don't solve it to solve it. You solve it to get an answer. Exactly. You don't fail to fail. You fail to succeed. So if a man fails and fails and fails and fails, and in the end there is nothing and nobody knows, nobody has anything whatsoever, man is a failure. You see, that's why people write books. People, autobiography, biography, books here and there, guides, podcasts, and so on and so forth. They tell you what they have tried, what has worked. That's how you know real successful people. Real successful people. Real successful people. Real successful people. They have tried what has worked. They have tried to check this, to make this work, to make this work, to make that work, to make that work, and so on and so forth, and to do this and to do that and to do this and to do that, and boom. There's no way out here. Then they give their child, okay, child, see, I've tried this in 15 ways, I've tried to do this, I tried this for 3 years, I tried this for 15 years, it did not work. So when you are starting your own journey, don't do this because it will end to futility. So now the child is not starting from where you are, the child is starting from where you ended. So the child's life will be better than your own, and that's a successful life. That is a successful life. Because you are also adding to humanity. You are also assisting and contributing to somebody else's success, and that makes you successful. So I hope you get the point. You cannot tell somebody he's a failure as far as he's alive. Failure is a state of being. It's a state of being. It is who you have become. It is who you are. And you don't become dead when you are alive. You become dead when you die. You cannot say, oh, I'm dead, oh, hey everybody, I'm dead, oh, come and see me, I'm dead. It's not possible. Forget Nollywood, forget all those Yoruba movies. It is not possible. You can't go around and say, oh, I am dead. Oh, no. You can say I am dying, but not I am dead. You can say I am failing, but not I am a failure. You don't become a failure while still alive, while still given the opportunity to breathe and to correct that nonsense that you have failed in. You cannot call yourself a failure. As far as God has given you another breath to continue to carry on, you cannot call yourself a failure. Nah, you're not a failure. Stand up and get to work. You're not a failure. Your father that gave birth to you cannot call you a failure. Your mother that gave birth to you cannot call. If they call you a failure, they are myopic. They cannot see far. Do you know what myopic is? You are myopic. They have myopia. They are myopic. They cannot see far. What they can see is just today and now. And most people are like that. Do you know parents that they tell their children, oh, you are a failure, you are this, that. Nah, they have eye problem. To them, what the elder sees sitting down and a child cannot see it while climbing a tree is not true for them. For those people, it's not true. Because even if you stand up, you cannot see past today. You cannot see anything. Why will you call somebody, your child, a failure? So if they've ever called you a failure, just know that they are myopic. They have high problem. And if you have money, please help them. Pay for any hospital. Let them get their eyes checked. Because it's not possible. It's not possible. Somebody cannot say you are dead. Can somebody say, you that are listening to this, can I say you are dead? No. Yes, you might be dying. And it's a grammatically correct sentence if you say you are dying, as you are not feeling fine. Maybe your health is failing, your body is feeling somehow, so you feel like you are dying. That's correct. But you cannot say, I feel like I'm dead. No. You cannot feel like it is a state of being. You become it. You become dead. When you become dead, you don't even know that you are dead. So you become a failure in the end. And it's the master judge that sees it. Also, people can see it, that you are a failure. People that really check, people that are really close, not somebody from afar, no. Because if I go through this tunnel and I've not gotten to the end of the tunnel, I've not gotten to the light in the tunnel, and I give the blueprint to my child, okay, I want to go and meet God now, I want to die, I want to transition, continue in this path, this is the right path. You cannot call me a failure. You cannot call me a failure. So you see the balances that I'm bringing to it now. Exactly. So again, let me say this. Failure or failing is not an end in itself. Failing is a means to an end. You don't fail to fail. When you fail to fail, you become a failure. But when you fail to succeed, that's when you're not a failure. If everything you do from beginning to the end, you fail, you even now still fail to pass it across to the next generation, you're a failure. You're a failure. But as far as you're alive, nah. I asked a question in my community, the Isosceles community. If you listen to Flipping the Plate Part 4, I think that the link is there. You can join the community from that podcast episode. So I want to reference Adiola. I told her at least 3 times, even in a DM. I went to a DM, I was like, damn, you stole from my notes. Like, oh my God. I asked them a question. I was like, what exactly is failure? Seeing that they said failure is the path to success, and seeing that they still said, don't fail, don't be a failure. Go to school and succeed. Go to do this and succeed. Don't fail at it. But failure is the path to success. How then do we not fail? But so I asked the question, and she gave beautiful responses. And not only did she stole it. Everybody did well. perspective wise, they all did well, and oh my god, they are all beautiful. There are Simi, Beauty Tiana, Oluwafermi, Oluwanifemi, and so on and so forth. Right? Bold girl Corey, everyone did well. But this girl, Adeola, it was like she peeped into my notes. And so, right, I actually wrote that failure is not the opposite of success, but she went ahead to write that it is the opposite of purpose. And I agree with it. And she just makes that sentence complete. Failure is not the opposite of success. I will prove why to you using mathematics and using logic. It is the opposite of purpose. If you don't fulfill your purpose, if you don't do what you're supposed to do on earth, that's when you're a failure. Right? So failure is not the opposite of success. Do you know that people say, and this is correct, that failure is not a destination, it is a journey. So it is the journey. Success is not a destination, it is a journey. So the journey of success is the journey of success. Somebody also said that success is like a rented house, and every day the rent is due. So you have to pack out of the house of success, or you have to renew the payment. It's a continuous everyday journey. So if success is a journey and failure is a destination, then they are not like terms. You know, in mathematics, in normal equation, you only put like terms together. When you see 24x plus 3x plus 3, you know that the 3 does not belong there. Carry it over across the equal to sign and then add or subtract the one that have x. Right? So, success is a journey. What else is a journey? Failing is also a journey. So, success is to failing, while failure is to negation of purpose. If you know the sign negation, if you did, I think logic something in mathematics, SS1, SS2, I can't remember very well. But failure is when you don't do or you don't fulfill your purpose. So the opposite of success is not failure. It's not. It is not. The opposite of success, it is not failure. Do you understand? So you can never ever say a thing has failed. No. A person has failed. But you can say a thing has failed. And this is correct with the definition that is in the dictionary. Failure. Now, for things, it is correct. Because you can see the end of a thing. But you most likely cannot see the end of a man and the entirety of what happened in the life of the man. So you can say a thing has failed. For example, I'm a mechanical engineer, and so we can see an iron, or let's say a lintel now, or I can see a ceiling fan here, and it's held by an iron, holding it. If this thing falls, it means that it has been failing because it is not brittle in nature. The property of this material, iron, this steel here is not brittle. It's not, I say steel, this iron here is not brittle. It's not like ceramics. If it is ceramics just break. But this is not ceramic. So it is failing even till now. Do you know that if any iron you use now, do you know when they build a house for you, they tell you that, okay, this house will last you 100 years. So when it's 100 years old, please break it down and renovate it. Oh, this house it can stay for 50 years. When it's after 50 years, break it down and renovate. It means that immediately they built it, the blocks, they start to fail. Every day they are failing. When rain comes and beat it, it is failing. When sun comes and beat it, it is failing. And in 100 years' time, that's when it will become a failure, a total failure, because it will collapse by 100 years' time. It does not just fails, no. So, but let me tell you how this failing of a house, it will not just fail or become a failure automatically. No, it can also succeed. It can succeed if it will not collapse if something is done to it in the 99th year or the 98th year. Do you understand? You can do something to it. You can add to it. You can renovate it before it collapses and fails. You can renovate. But if you leave it to itself and it continues to fail, and the end to the failing is failure. But you can do something to it so that the end to failing becomes success. Because, again, failing is not a means to an end. Failing is not the end in itself. Failing is a means to an end, and the end should be success. Do you understand? So you can fail, but don't be a failure. Don't be a failure. Document. Journal. Write down. Document your process. Some people don't have any picture. Document your process. There are some pictures that I was like, so I don't have any picture. There are some things I teach about and I'm like, hey, I don't have any evidence, any pictorial evidence of this. There are like 2 laptops. Oh my God. I still have the laptop. 1 mini laptop that I almost finished my life. I can be working on a complete design. And it will just go hot and go off, and you know that you are going to start again, even if you saved it, because the file will be corrupted. So as I was saying, Jerry, so there are some evidences. Oh my God. So yeah. But you can tell that a thing can be any non-living thing per se, non-living thing. You can say this is a failure. Because we can have mechanical failure, we can have biological failure, and so on and so forth. Surgical failure. Do you understand? But as far as you can improve on it, it has not failed. Let me tell you how God can fail as well. God has failed. God has failed many times, and He can still fail. And even in your life, He can still fail. That song, it can never ever fail. It can never ever fail. It can never ever fail. Jesus is same forever. It's not true. It can fail. In your life, it can fail. He has failed before. But calm down. Let me explain. So you get clarity. Breathe. So Project Adam failed. And that's why Jesus had to come to redeem man from that failure. He redeemed man to be eternally saved. Right? Project Adam failed. Adam, don't eat from this tree, blah blah blah. I think I was actually going to have a podcast episode on that whole scenario, and I'm going to be titling it Why. But I'm thinking of not doing it, because if I do it, I will most likely use it to promote a course of mine. Let's close that chapter. Let's continue. But Project Adam failed. That was why Jesus had to come in as the correcting plan, the corrective maintenance. Right? The corrective maintenance to the failure that has been done. Now, also in another light, God, do you know the children of Israel that were enslaved by the Egyptians? Pharaoh was, enslaving these people, beating them, they were enslaved, they were building empires for him, they were giving them nonsense food and, garlic, cucumber, and all of these things. And I like when Apostle Lazarus talked about this. He's always so hilarious, because he does not like all these things. He does not like garlic, onions as well. So when he talks about it, it's so funny. And I want you to actually go and listen to. I will not tell you the full story that I want to tell you about these people of Israel, how God failed in their life, right? I will not tell you. I want you to go and listen to a crowd that wants small things. Also go and listen to Egypt a man called Moses. I think that's 3. It's 3, part 1, part 2, part 3. A man called Moses, part 1, part 2, part 3. But let me continue in this story. Well, I will not finish it anyways. You have to go and listen, that you get complete understanding. Now, God heard their cry. He saw their pain, and he stepped in to help them. He told Moses, okay, do this, go and meet him, And finally, Pharaoh, I don't want to go through all of the story. Pharaoh finally released them, and they were scared. And see, the journey could have actually taken 40 days, but it took 40 years. Not because God does not like them or God wanted to waste their time, no, but because God saw them, that in their heart, if they saw fight, they would surrender and say, oh, hey, I'm not going again, oh, don't worry. If they saw, instead of them to fight, thousands of people, instead of them to fight, God saw that they would have surrendered. And so God carried them through the 40 years route. Imagine going to a place that would take 40 days. But because these people that have been enslaved, that did heavy works, that built empires, that almost finished building a country, just imagine. Like, they were used to create a country and they were enslaved. They had power to carry blocks, to build, to do this, to do that. But they didn't have power to fight for their own freedom. And so God carried them through the 40 years route, and they went, and they even allowed, they were, the Bible said the adults plus the children, they were all crying because they missed the cucumber and the garlic that Pharaoh used to give them. Cucumber and garlic. Do you know how garlic used to smell? Hey, do you know how nonsense? Oh, nonsense. Oh my God. I don't want to call it nonsense. Ginger, garlic, cucumber. And that was their food. That was what they were giving them. And they missed it. God is taking you to your own country that you will own. You can dominate. You can be your own king by yourself. Everybody can share land, free land, build your houses, become the king in your own empire. But they said no, they missed the cucumber and the canes that they used to flog them. They missed it. So much so that they made Moses sin against God. So much so that Moses was not able to lead them to the promised land anymore. So much so that they were crying to God for meat, and God gave them excess meat, and they were still behaving nonsensely, and they still wanted. Do you know that they still intended? I will not tell you the full story. They intended to go back when they've gotten. Oh my God, they've gone for years. After 40 years, after they've gotten to where they are, they told themselves, listen, after 40 years, after they have gotten to their destination, they told themselves that let us go back. So God took them out of Egypt, but God failed to take Egypt out of them because of what Egypt had already done to their mind. So God failed to help them. The same way God can fail to help you. The same way God can fail in your life. If you are the only one that have the power. See, devil does not. When you are thinking of things, don't think about devil. All those village people, all those, it's for the lowest of the masses of the. You are not part of those people anymore. Only you can stop God from helping you. You are the one that can allow God fail in your life. When you lack exposure. See, do you know that? There's a part I want to say, but I might take time. I don't want to say it, but again, go and listen to it. I'll tag it to this podcast episode, and so you listen to it by yourself, right? So yes. I'm tempted to say it, but let me just say small. When God sent Moses to help them, when he was going and he saw the people that were in slavery, they were fighting themselves, and he was like, why are you fighting yourself? Why are you, instead of you to fight the people that are oppressing you, and those people that were fighting, they gave Moses, they told him, they insulted him so much so that Moses had to go back and think about his life. for 40 years. So they were in slavery for an extra 40 years. They were in slavery for an extra 40 years. And so the people that knew what freedom looked like, they had died. The people that were newly enslaved, they had died. So it now remained after 40. So they were now used to it. After 40 years, you'll be used to it. So they gave birth to children that didn't know what freedom looked like. They gave birth to children that was scared of freedom. They don't know what freedom looked like. They thought freedom was an even more deadlier version of what they faced. They were scared of freedom. That's the same way you can be so used to nonsense that when God shows you the light, oh yeah, see it, oh yeah, come inside. You say, no, I'm Ife. I just want to be here. I just, I don't want to, all this. I just want to have money, feed my family, and be able to buy rice, beans, 3 derika every day, and just I don't want. Again, that podcast I told you I listened to, that Adeshido and Apostle Lazarus, he said something beautiful. He said he went to his uncle's house one time and he was so scared. One night he came out and he saw 4 cars outside and he ran inside and he was scared. And he was like, the only people that I know that have money like this, they are ritualists. Because how can you legitimately have money like this? How can you legitimately have money and buy 4 cars? Like, it felt so somehow to him. And he said one time that same uncle carried his 2 children and him out to a phone store that even iPhone had newly come out, and he told them to pick any phone they want, that he will pay for it. And the guy said the highest thing he could pick was a Sha 500, one button phone. At the time when screen touch was a new thing back then, when iPhone was a new thing back then, screen touch, the highest thing he could think of was a Sha 500. I know that phone. So people of 2005, 2004, 2003, 2002, 2001 upwards like that, they will know the phone. But let's say 2007, 8, 9, you might not know it, but I used it to play game. My brother had it and one of my neighbors had it at that time. So I played ball. I played, all these games on it. It felt like having picking a very high phone would have been a crime. It felt like it was a crime, and he couldn't go for it, even if there was somebody that was going to pay for it. The same way God can tell you, oh, my child, tell me anything you want in this world, and what you might be able to say is, God, I just want to have 1.5. I'm hungry. I want to buy bread and beans. I just want to have 1.5. Just 1.5. Give me. See, as funny as this may be, that is somebody's reality. That's somebody's reality. That the highest thing you can think of is having 2 shops, joining them together, and doing business there. 2 shops. 2 shops. That is like your room. 2. The highest thing you can think of is having iPhone 13 Pro Max and iPhone 14 Pro Max and iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's the highest thing you can think of. You are behind. You are way behind. You are still under the rock. There is a way exposure. There is a way prosperity. There is a way goodness and mercy will look like sin to you. See, if that is Honku, I said Honku. I'm sorry. I'm not a Yoruba boy. If that is uncle had given him 2 million hey, what's going on? If that is uncle, I will not cut this out, don't worry. I actually don't cut out stuff, right? So it's just very raw. I like to be myself every time. So if that is uncle gives him or had given him 2 million naira at the time, he would most likely have gone to church and given it out as an offering, because it would have felt like sin to him. It would have felt like being in sin. Like, how can I have this money? Because he cannot fathom it. He cannot envisage. He cannot imagine having that kind of money. You can't imagine it. What does he want to do with it? That kind of money will kill him or would have killed him the same way. And do you see that the uncle would have failed to help him if the uncle wanted to help him with 2 million naira to start a business at the time. So I'm saying that God can fail in your life if you let God fail. If you let him not have his way. If you lack exposure, you can let God fail in your life. If you lack, the exposure is just one of them, but I want to, money counter. I want to land on it very, very well. God can fail in your life if you let him more. God can fail in your life. Even Jesus wept. Jesus went somewhere and he could not perform any miracle. He could not do anything. He could not minister to them. He could not preach to them. He could not even heal the sick. He failed. Let me put it this way. He failed to heal the sick because of their unbelief. Because they could not believe. And so he cried. He wept. Jesus wept. He cried like this. He marveled at their unbelief. So God can fail to help you. God can fail to help you. God, don't let them lie to you. That, don't worry, God will do it. God will never fail in my life. He can fail. That's the plain truth. He can fail in your life. And he will fail if you don't do what you're supposed to do. If you don't expand your mind. If you don't read. If you don't study. If you don't come out of that shitty environment, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it will fail. I'm telling you, I'm not cursing you, and that is the truth. I'm in my house, come and beat me. That's the truth. That's the truth, So let me end by saying this, by reiterating what I've been saying. You only become a failure when you can't improve on a thing anymore. Right? As far as you can improve, as far as there's an opportunity to improve on it, as far as there's breath in your nostril to improve on it, it's not failure. You are not a failure. You only fail in the end. That's it. You only fail in the end. You cannot be in the middle of the timeline and say you are a failure. You can only be a failure in the end. Nobody can call you a failure. And for everybody that has been hurt, heartbroken, or what may, because they were called names, they were told that they were failures and so on and so forth. You're not a failure. I'm telling you now. This is facts. I can back it up. Right? And I have backed it up. You're not a failure. You cannot be a failure. Okay, let me not say you cannot be a failure. You But if you listen to this now, you should not be a failure, right? Don't be a failure. Thank you and God bless you. Catch you in the next episode.